Welcome to my presentation on Twitter sentiment analysis and stock market prediction. The overview of the presentation goes like this: introduction, and then Twitter data collection and finance data collection, data filtering and feature formation from the Twitter, which are data collected from the Twitter, performing Twitter data prediction, some of the results we conducted at the end conclusion. Today is the world of driven by the information and huge amount of data being generated across the world every day. There are several social medias which are becoming more popular in recent days, such as Facebook, Twitter's, YouTube, MySpace, etc. Many people do connect to the social media, and they share information and opinion. Many of the opinion comment that people are sharing form enormous value. They are also add the feedback to the product and the services, also to the companies, which become the indicative of how well the product are becoming popular to the people. So there are different ways in which the analysis on the text can be done. It could be at document level, sentence level, phrase level, aspect level, etc. One of the ways to determine the sentiment of a given text is to use what is known as word dictionaries. Word dictionary basically consists of list of words along with the polarities associated with each word. To determine the what is the sentiment of a word, we can identify how many important word and summation of the each polarity of individual word will give the sentence sentiment. There are other ways of computing the sentiment of the given text using statistical and machine learning technique. Initially, given the training set, we will usually identify the back of words, such as this one bag of word consists of all the important words which can be used to train the machine learning techniques. The machine learning techniques such as support vector, maximum entropy classifier, Newey Bayes method are used for sentiment classification. Now, there is an interesting thing happens when the people are becoming more positive and tweet about a given company, and their stock has an association with the positive feeling. We try to explore this association in this research, indicative that there is a sentiment is back-ended with how the prices are fluctuating in the stock market. This is the how we collect the data from the Twitter as well as Yahoo Finance. The Twitter supports the various APIs, streaming API, REST API, through which we can collect the data from the Twitter. Even the Yahoo Finance also supports some of the APIs through which we can collect the finance related data. Beautiful Soup is a package supported by Python which can be used to filter the data collected from both the Twitter as well as Yahoo Finance. This is an example of how the text from the tweet will look like. It consists of the main text part along with the some of the hashtags. URL may also present, some of the numbers may be inserted in this particular text, and so on. Therefore, it is important for us to perform the filtering. Data filtering and pre-processing forms the first step in the sentiment analysis. In this, there are three main type of filtering is done. Identify the stop words which are not required to understand the sentiment meaning, which are removed. Remove the URL, the other part of the and numbers, tags, or emotions which are inserted as a part of the tweets are removed. Once the filtering is done, we can utilize the important words which are present in the text to compute the sentiment score. Given the important word that is present in the text part of the tweet, we can refer the affine, which is the library consisting of the word as well as the polarity value between -5 to 5, and we can compute the sentiment score of a tweet as a summation of individual polarity values. So this will give the total sentiment score of a tweet. Now these are the example. This is the tweet. After filtering we get a important word. Important words are referred, something like grade scale, score, sales, scores, closed in the above average. Some of these are words will form, can be referred back to a fine library and compute the sentiment score. So this has going to be a positive score with a plus, and there are few comments which could also lead to a negative sentiment scores. Data prediction can be done with the use of the base or the training set. We utilize two main machine learning approaches, Newai base and the support vector machine. The Newai base classifier basically perform the prediction based on the probabilities. These probabilities can be determined using the training set. The posterior probability, which is the probability that X, a sample object, belongs to given class, either positive or negative, can be found by taking the various prior probabilities. So these are the prior probabilities which can be computed using the training set. The support vector machine is a supervised classification technique which basically determine the hyperplanes based on the training set. So it will distinguish from one class to the other class by using these hyperplanes. The experiment is conducted on the training set, which is collected from the various companies. The companies from the tweets such as Apple, McDonald's, IBM, Microsoft, Sun Microsoft, GE, FedEx, all these are collected. For example, Apple consists of total 799 tweets, out of which 262 are positive, 77 negative, and 460 are neutral. Similarly, distribution is for other companies as well. We use the Newai based classifier and support vector machine classifier and trained on the previous training set, this training set, and performed the tenfold cross validation. The accuracy of classification accuracy on tenfold cross validation is given in the chart. The accuracy for the Newai based classification is around 80.042, and for the support vector machine is 81.51. Now this is a pretty good classification rate given the largest set of the tweets available. Further we explore these are the more precision, recall, and F measures on both the classifier Newai base as well as support vector machine. Given the stock value, there is always a sentiment of the people who are buying those stocks. So the tweet can be thought of associated with the stock prices. For that, we computed the sentiment and found out how many total number of positive and total number of negative, and taken the ratio of positive to the total number of tweets and negative to the total number of tweet, and depicted against the stock price. For example, here in this chart is the distribution of the stock market against the how the sentiment score is changing. Now here, if the positive score is 0.86, we can see that the stock market value also goes up, and if the sentiment is coming down like 0.86 and 0.81, 0.76 and so on, the stock price is also decreasing similarly. So we can see that there is an association between how the stock prices are varying and the sentiment that is present in the tweet. This is further utilized to predict the stock market status. The stock market status will be either +1, which is indicative what will be the closing price of the stock. If the closing price of the stock is greater than the opening price, then it will be stock market status will be 1. Otherwise the status will be indicated as a -1, which is showing that closing price is less than the opening price. So we utilize the features corresponding the tweets and trained a support vector machine on the same training set what we discussed earlier, and the support vector machine performs the stock market status prediction, either +1 or -1, and on tenfold cross validation the support vector machine gives 84.8 as the accuracy. In conclusion, we can see that many people do connected across the world using various social medias, and they share the information, opinion, comment on the product or the services they come across. We utilized this and downloaded the tweet data related to tweet, and done the sentiment analysis, and we used the nearby based classifier as well as support vector machine to perform the sentiment prediction, and the support vector machine gives 81.51 on the cross validation. Further, we found that there is an association between how the people are giving the feedback in tweets and the stock prices. So we exclusively used tweet related information and used it for the stock market status prediction. The support vector machine as a classifier is used, and the stock market prediction is performed. On tenfold cross validation, the support vector machine gives 84.8 as its classification accuracy. This is a short presentation on how we can use the Twitter, and further we can explore the association of the Twitter data on the stock market. Thank you for this short presentation.